It's an interesting job for sure. And I mean, I always walk into the locker room and I'm like, this is one of the only jobs where whoever you're serving sees you naked, right? Like I'm in the locker room with them and they're like, oh, hey. I'm like, oh, hey.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny. It's interesting. But I mean, I love my job. I love it.
Hi, I'm Dave Weich, and you're listening to Work-Shaped Life. Most of what I knew about Sarah Kurtz before this conversation I'd heard from my wife, Laura, who's been running with Sarah for years. Long distances, 8, 12, 15 miles. Once a year they even run a 50K, so they have a lot of time to talk. Laura also goes to Sarah's yoga classes on the weekend, working out alongside 50 other people in a packed studio. Many of her classmates have been training with Sarah for 10 years or more. Some context: Sarah teaches vinyasa-style yoga. Basically, what most Americans who don't do yoga imagine when they think of people doing yoga. She also teaches Sculpt, which is very different. A cardio workout set to loud music that mixes in squats, lunges, burpees, and dumbbell curls. Strength training. Sarah's workouts are known to be challenging, and her students are devoted. Because for one thing, Sarah makes it fun. But what would that be like, to work out for a living? To push your body day after day, year after year, so that others, your customers, can themselves achieve a heightened state of physical and mental well-being. What do you do, Sarah?
I'm a full-time yoga teacher.
And how long have you been doing that?
Full-time for at least 20 years.
From what I know, you did not grow up thinking, I'm going to be a yoga teacher.
Yeah, I was a nurse for a while. And then as I was in the nursing station one time, a girl said, there's a class that's way harder than running a marathon. And I was like, oh, let me go, And so I ended up going to this class, and it was just about the time I was getting divorced. I was separated, so I ended up going to all these Bikram classes, and then I saw a poster that was like Bikram training in LA in September for X amount of bucks, and I thought, okay, here's a good way to turn the page.
How active were you in terms of your exercise regimen before that?
Always just a runner, but I used to get injured a lot because I was running too much on all the time. And then once I started doing yoga, I didn't get injured as much.
You took that class. What was your sort of reaction to it in terms of, obviously it must have made you feel good. It must have worked on you somehow, because it sounds like there was a bit of a recognition that this is good for me.
I guess I didn't necessarily think I was going to be a teacher or anything forever. I just think it felt good in my body, and I feel like maybe it was kind of good therapy for what I was going through. And what a great opportunity for like ending one part of your life and starting a new life. So
divorce kind of aside, do you think, did you feel like you were kind of done with nursing, or was that? Yeah.
It wasn't working for me, but I still had to do it because I needed money.
Sure.
And so even when I got back from that training, I still had to be a nurse until finally I was just like, I'd rather be poor.
Right.
I'd rather be poor and love what I do. Yeah. I'd rather be so in love with my job and not have a lot of means versus the other way.
Yeah.
So
how did it become a job? What was that transition like? Did you just start teaching like a class here and there, or was it more just like all of a sudden now this is what I'm doing?
Well, when I got back from Bikram training, I started working at a small little yoga studio in Denver, owned by this sweet lady, and every class was an hour and a half. So I think I taught 2 classes, and then I would take a class. So that's like your whole day right there.
Right.
And I think I made maybe $30 a class or something. So I was still a nurse at that time.
Uh-huh.
Oh, but at the Bikram training, this is crazy. So there were 200, it was either 260 or 360 people. And on the pamphlet, it looked like you were going to Shangri-La, okay? With like grass and a fountain or whatever. And in fact, it was a batting cage on La Cienega in Hollywood, okay? But of those people, one of them was a guy who was friends with another guy who was opening a yoga studio called Core Power in Denver. Okay. So when I met that one guy and he knew that I lived in Denver, I came back and I was still friends with them and entertaining, teaching yoga and stuff. And they hadn't opened Core Power. It was just being built. Mm-hmm. But I was working at that other small little yoga studio. Right. So that's how the transition went from me teaching just 2 classes to then me quitting being a nurse, because then I started teaching full-time at Core Power Yoga.
Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about the classes, like first about Bikram and then what you teach now.
So Bikram is an hour-and-a-half class in super, super hot room. And it's the same 26 postures every time. And they taught us to just say basically a monologue.
Okay.
And we memorized a monologue. We were like soldiers of the man.
Okay.
And if you're ever interested, you can look up, this guy is crazy.
And was Bikram actually like, did you meet Bikram?
Yeah, he taught the evening class every night and on the Saturdays. And later in the evening after our classes and all day, he would tell stories. I don't know what was real and what wasn't, but they were like metaphors for living, right? But he just loved hearing himself talk.
Okay.
And that was our education. So I wouldn't say that's like why I was so passionate about yoga or anything. Right. It was the feeling, the relationships, the turning the page. Yeah. Right. So that's Bikram.
Okay.
But then Core Power Yoga is a vinyasa style yoga. That is what your wife loves, right? So it's much more creative. There's tons of different ways of teaching it, but mostly now the way I teach is really to just help people have a framework for living, right? You're just offering them a space to help them heal and get through whatever they're living through. But there is physical exercise.
There is a tremendous amount of physical exercise, and it's still hot.
And it's still hot, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay, but mostly you teach classes that are hot?
Yeah. But it's not like the heat's broken right now in one of the studios and no one even cares. Like you're still going to get what you need.
Right. In your mind, like what does that mean to you, a guide to living? First, actually, maybe just start. It's 90 minutes?
The classes I teach now are an hour.
Okay, so it's an hour. What happens during that hour?
You walk in, you ground the people by physically grounding them. Uh-huh. And then you teach them a sequence, and the way I teach, I basically teach towards a peak posture, which would be something that's like extremely opening, like a big back bend or like the splits or something like that. You're working them towards something like that. Uh-huh. And then at the end, you summarize and they rest on their backs in what's called Shavasana. But the whole journey is supposed to be from child's pose to Shavasana, which is, being born and then dying, right? So it's a chance to begin again, just a journey from point A to point B.
What was your experience doing this type of class?
There have been some people who, they just say things while you're open. The postures, you're working hard, you're kind of being broken down. And then whatever is being said, you feel like very porous to it. And so one of my favorite teachers, this is a long time ago, he just said, come as you are, not as you think you should be. Right? But that's taken me 20 years to even show up like that as a teacher myself. Like the whole thing is like your biggest superpower is being yourself.
And I got to imagine that's pretty empowering for people, even just the idea that they can work to that.
I just want people to be able to feel empowered and held and safe and strong, you know?
And the strong part, your classes, from what I can tell, people love them, but they are challenging. They are like, they're not just anybody can walk into this class and do this. What is that? Is that part of the breaking people down? Like, how do those two things connect? How does the working that hard physically compute with the sort of emotional and personal?
Where's the connection? The connection is the ability to remind people that they can do hard things, that they can use this mental endurance for stuff that sucks, like family illness that endures, you know, to be able to do adventures and travel, all of that stuff. That's why I want it to be hard. Like, I don't want to make anyone feel unsuccessful or beat down or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, I guess that's the connection between the two things.
Yeah. How many classes do you teach in a week?
I teach 15 classes. So essentially, my dad always says, it's just like, well, you could work more, because essentially that's 30 hours a week. But energetically, I can't do anymore.
How much physical exertion is there for you as the teacher as compared to someone in the class during a class?
Equal physical exertion. Energetic mental exertion on me, way, way, way higher. Like, my energy output and creativity and the lifting and pulling 55 people in a sculpt class, for instance, is like running with a parachute or pulling a 747 sometimes. Like, it can either be like a river raft trip and we're all on it, or like this past Saturday, I just was like, oh my God, I'm carrying the entire load. Like, if I'm not jumping and lifting, then nobody is. And like, people are like super serious. So I'm the joy, I'm the entertainment, I'm the music, you know?
Yeah.
So physically, we're all doing the same thing. But when I get home, I collapse.
And how many miles in the course of a week do you typically run?
Well, I do my long runs with your wife, and then maybe 3 to 5 miles, like 5 other days.
Okay.
If like today, I was so tired, I ran like 3.
Okay. So
But I have to be in nature and do stuff for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Okay, and the long runs are anywhere between 8 miles and 30.
Correct.
Correct. You are so in your body. Your relationship to your body is so fundamental to your relationship to your work.
Right.
As you've aged, as you've been doing this over time, how has your relationship to this activity and this career evolved?
Well, I would say a couple things. I would say that I'm very careful about like when running in the woods and stuff. Like, I run slow and everyone laughs at me and stuff because I don't want to trip on a crack. Because if I can't show up, I mean, I could stand or sit in a class, but if I can't teach, I can't work.
Right.
And I don't get PTO and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and I also don't know what I would do without my friends. Like, I had 0 friends when I moved here, because I moved from Denver to Portland to help open a Core Power and teach all the teachers to teach. I knew no one, 0. And I had like 75 people at my 40th birthday party that are my dearest friends, and it's all because of yoga. Right? So my work is my life. And many of the people I've dated have been somehow related to yoga.
Are you social with many people who are not as physically active? Do you even meet them?
I don't know. Do you know any people who aren't physically active?
Well, I mean, you are physically active on a level that I am not. You know, I mean, I walk a lot, I hike. I swim laps twice a week.
Yeah.
But I mean, even that's a good example. It's so solitary. I never talk to anyone at the pool ever. I get in the pool, I swim my laps, I get out of the pool, and I leave.
I'm friends with a lot of people, but most every single person who's in my realm here, that's not blood relative or whatever, is active. We're in a weird bubble. But we're all also extremists. Like a lot of us, we like to work hard and we like to play hard. But nobody in my family has done yoga. I mean, my mom did it once. And we were in a Bikram class and she slept for like 14 hours that night. And then my dad came to like a power yoga class. But no, none of my brothers or anything.
Your dad was a doctor, and you even have at least one brother that's a doctor.
There are a lot of people in the medical field.
So that was sort of what you grew up with, which is probably...
My mom was a nurse.
Okay. And then you became a nurse.
Yep.
Because that was the world you saw, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah. And what was your experience of that? Was it why did you feel like you needed to get out of it? How did it not work for you?
When I think of nursing, I think of being trapped in fluorescent lights inside and not wanting to go to work. Also, I chose to be an oncology nurse for pediatrics, and it was super stressful, and I always thought that I was going to make a mistake. I mean, because if you could, the doctor wasn't always there because if you're working nights, and so if you fuck up, it's a life or death, and it's a kid. And so I didn't last very long with that. I lasted like 4 years. And now I'm on the other side, right? Preventative health care.
These people have become your friends, but even sort of deeper than that, professionally, like you've had people coming to your class for 20 years, right? Like it's not just that you've met people that now you hang out with. It's like, my understanding of it is that you have a devoted following that shows up, if not weekly because of what's going on in their life. Like these are people that you've known for a very long time in that space.
Yeah, a lot of them I've known for 15, 18 years. Before they got married, then when they got married, that now they have kids. Several people have had me teach the morning of their wedding, stuff like that. They've seen me change and grow, over the years.
Well, it feels like, among other things, I mean, you're all being so vulnerable in a strange way. I mean, it's a physical thing, but you are really, 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 really pushing each other in a way. I mean, I suppose they're not pushing you, but they are, because you want to be your best for them.
Right. They're reflecting back, right? So especially the people I've known for a while, like your wife, Laura, or people that have known me, they can give me a look and just be like, chill.
Does that happen often?
Yeah, just like, don't be so hard or so reactive. Like, I can just look at someone and they'll just simmer me down. One of the things about having all these people come into a class, and a lot of my coworkers would say this too, is being in the service industry, and maybe you felt like this at Powell's or whatever, but people dump on you when you're behind a counter, and it can be exhausting. So it's just an interesting energy exchange.
I have to imagine there is a sort of counseling aspect to it. And it's not, obviously, you're not a paid, like, that is not what you're promising. But right, it's kind of what I mean. There's a vulnerability and there's an intimacy.
Yeah.
Where Laura she wasn't upset, but it was really funny. She was talking about someone in one of your classes. I don't know the person's name. And she said something about, literally what it was how much they were sweating.
Oh.
Because it's hot and you're working out really hard. And so she's telling me this story. And then later she said something else. And I'm like, is this the person that you've been sweating with every week for however long? And she just kind of paused and she was like, I don't sweat with her. I'm like, no, you do. I mean, it's not your reason for being there, but yeah, no, you definitely sweat with her. She's like 3 feet away from you, dripping.
Dripping. Yeah.
You were a nurse, so maybe that kind of breaks down some things. But like, you got 55 people, you say, in this room.
I would say the sweat doesn't really bother me. It does bother a lot of people. And we all talk about, like, there's some people who are like sweat a ton. But mostly, like, we just, like, rip on people who, like, fart and stuff like that. Like, we just are like or, like, last week, I had one of my friends text and be like, "Oh my god, did you hear that girl fart in my face?" And I was like, "Yeah, but, like, I can't if I, like, if I look at them, then I'll just bust out laughing. It's like the church. But I have been known to be like, "You guys, we do not smell good in here." It's an interesting job for sure, and, I mean, I always walk into the locker room and I'm like, "This is one of the only jobs." I mean, there are other jobs, but, like, where you're where whoever you're serving sees you naked,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, I'm in the locker room with them, and they're like, "Oh, hey." I'm like, "Oh, hey."
Right.
Right?
Yeah. That's what I mean about the intimacy. I mean, there is a level of like, this is not a normal like client relationship.
No, it's funny. It's interesting. But I mean, I love my job. I love it.
I'm curious about how you do make it work financially. And one of the answers that I'm aware of is that you organize trips. So,
Oh, yeah.
so tell me about that. What is that part of your job? What do you do?
So at first I did it with another friend, and now I do it sort of solo. But basically, you just choose a place, and we take how many ever people we can to a resort. And my favorite one is in Tulum.
Hmm.
And on those trips, the people pay for basically all inclusive minus the alcohol, and there's longer classes, so like an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half at night, and then during the day everybody does whatever they want. And then at night everybody pounds the drinks and then passes out at 9 and goes and does it again. I've done like I'd say 20 of them or something, and originally I did them with Core Power,
Hmm.
and I didn't make any money or anything. I just got the trip for free, which is basically what you want.
Hmm.
But now it does help to pay the bills. They're fun. They're so fun.
And do you find, is it often the same people who are coming on the trips?
Yeah.
And so those people you actually must get to know.
Oh yeah, they're like my besties. Yeah.
And even that's kind of weird though, because they're paying to go on your trip.
Well, I mean, they're paying to stay somewhere really awesome, and they get to have what they want for exercise on the trip. So I've done other trips where, like, say, imagine you and Lauren, like your friends, all go to Mexico.
Mhm.
And what if, like, more of you liked yoga and you just brought me along? I've done that before where you guys would just like pay for me, and then
Mhm.
I just show up to teach and then go off and do my own thing, and you guys do that. It's just like, when you guys go on your trips and you love to hike,
Mhm.
like you go because you want to do what you love. And
Right.
that's what they're getting. They're getting
Right.
paradise and a little yoga.
And their favorite yoga instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of laughs.
Someone might hear about what you do and they might hear about one of these trips and they might think that it's more of what I would think of as like a health getaway. And there's obviously a huge component of that, but it's not just
This isn't an ashram.
right.
When we say a yoga retreat, I'm not pretending to be a healer. It's Sarah Kurtz, your sarcastic, authentic, dirty, drinking yoga teacher who's coming on a trip with you, and we're going to have fun. It's a yoga adventure. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not a guru. I'm just a human being. There's trips for people who want to do that, and that's not this. And so I attract people who are just people
Yeah.
wanting to have a nice time. I will tell you the first question people ask when they say yay or nay is, are we getting to have alcohol?
Uh-huh.
And I say, yeah. And they're like, oh, thank God.
Why do you think it's so important to bring the fun part? That might be like such an obvious question that it's impossible for you to answer, but I'm going to guess that there are a lot of classes that aren't necessarily sort of skewing that way.
Well, so my yoga classes are, I mean, I bust a couple cracks and jokes and stuff in there, but they're not like always fun. You know what I mean? They're hard work, but my school classes are fun.
Okay.
I put a lot of hard work into my work.
What does that look like preparing, and how often do you change things up?
I teach at 2 different studios, so I teach every other day, right? So Monday, Tuesday can be the same sculpt class, Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
But I have like 1,600 playlists, and I make new playlists all the time, and I choreograph every single song to exercises. I don't think everybody does that.
Yeah.
And also, like, I sing really loud, and I'll like dance, and we have fun.
What are like 3 off the top of your head killer tracks that have to be in a greatest hits class?
Um, what would I say? DJ Turn It Up. I love that song. But you don't know any of those songs,
It
do
doesn't
you?
matter.
You guys that like really eclectic music.
Yeah, but I understand this is a class. You're not going to listen to Elliott Smith in the middle of a sculpt class.
No, Turn Down for What? I would say They Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
And you know he won a Pulitzer Prize.
I do.
Yeah, I love Kendrick Lamar. And then maybe like one of my top, like almost the top song that I played on my Spotify is Nice for What by Drake. So that's an old song, but I love music. I always tell them, I'd be like, you guys, I should have been a DJ, but if I was, I'd be dead by now.
Well, you are a DJ. You just happen to be in a different context doing different things.
Yeah.
But you are actually filling a room of people with music and getting them to
Have a
physically
beautiful time.
respond. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So this is what you're doing and what you've been doing for a while. How do you see that evolving? Are there things that you see in your future that you're kind of like building toward? Obviously, you're not only aging, the people who are so addicted to your class are aging. Like, what does that look like at this point to you?
Well, I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can, but I don't think I can be teaching sculpt when I'm 70. So I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll start teaching like chairlifting weights. I don't know. I really don't know. I would rather evolve as a human. That's more my goal than evolving as a job.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think about when you think that? What is in your head?
Just making sure that I continue to grow and self-reflect and be a good sister and daughter and friend. Because you could die tomorrow, so I don't want to worry about like how I'm going to teach yoga when I'm 70.
But I have to imagine that the skills that you've built up over the years and the relationships through your work will serve you. My job isn't really dependent on my body so much. But that said, I mean, you hear 1,000 stories about like, well, people are aging and they have no new ideas. And it's the young kids these days who we're seeing. And there's a lot of truth to a lot of that. But I think what's been interesting for me to realize too is that there's an entire generation that's aging with me.
Right.
And those people don't necessarily want to be directed by a 20-something any more than I do.
Right.
I am thrilled to have people who are younger in my life because lots of reasons. Keeps me young, new ideas, all the things. But it's not as if, I think it's easy, maybe this is it. I think it's easy to be distracted by media and culture's fascination with young people and forget that you and your cohort are still very much there and needing support, direction.
My guess is we'll all, as a posse, continue to age and things will shift. But as for my job, I want to be around this community as long as I can be. So if I have to switch roles and go back to being a teacher trainer and involved in that less of a physical way, and then I could do that, right? I just keep dropping the pearls of wisdom because we want to kind of keep close to the source of the core power. There's only a few people left that helped start it that still are this involved.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I suppose I could do that.
Yeah. What would surprise someone about the classes who doesn't do them?
I would say that number one, the biggest misconception is that you have to be flexible and that you have to be good at it to get out of it what everybody else does.
Mhm.
The yoga is still going to happen to you. It's not about what the posture looks like. It's not about the bendiest person. It's not about the person who can hold a handstand or a push-up. That's, I think, the misconception. I think yoga works on everybody the same.
Yeah.
It works on you no matter where you're at. You're still going to get something out of every class,
Right.
even if you don't think you're good.
What's most important to you about your job? Maybe at the end of a day or a week, when you feel good about it, what is it that made you feel good?
If I feel like I showed up and I was super authentic and I was completely myself and I made other people feel good.
Mhm.
That's brings me a lot of satisfaction. If I feel like I helped people and I was just being me. Because people can put on like a persona when they teach. You could be like you and me talking, and then they go up front, and they all of a sudden like get a British accent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like their
Right.
teaching voice or whatever.
Right.
So I think I really value that in myself,
Yeah.
and I've gotten a lot better at it, I think.
Do you, in your head, have someone in mind when you think of like the best teacher you ever had?
Yeah,
What made them the best?
their connection to themselves and the other people while they're teaching, and the way that they help the students find meaning in what they're doing, like the why
Mm-hmm.
behind something really hard. And this person is like so strong and so beautiful and so acrobatic, and most of the time it's like a room of just mirrors, and a lot of times they'll just be eyes closed,
Uh-huh.
right? And I like really admire that.
I would assume that a typical person listening to this, they have a conception of yoga. Do you think that most of them are thinking about the why? That feels like something that you might start to understand more, the sort of the power of the why, once you do it. Because I think for most people, yoga is more about stretching. It's, like you said, flexible people who can do weird poses.
Yeah.
But it's not why. I don't think that's the conception of people looking at it from a distance.
I would agree, but that's why this particular teacher, I feel like anything that we invest more into, it helps to understand it better.
Hmm?
A lot of people go to yoga and sculpt and stuff just because it's exercise, for exercise's sake, right? But if you can attach meaning to it, I think that they'll try harder and they'll invest more and be more connected to their body. I can't tell you how many times I'll be like, you guys, what's the job of your bicep?
And what's the answer?
What, do you know the answer?
Probably not well enough.
To bend your elbow.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So, or what's the job of the tricep? It's to straighten the arm.
Huh?
Right. So your tricep isn't going to work if you need to bend your elbow to straighten it. Understand your body, people. I think, helping people understand their bodies.
Right. Do you or have you ever had a practice of meditating?
No, I can't sit still long enough.
Okay. And
Do you?
I took a class and I did it for a long time. I still do it much more modestly, not nearly as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I did find it incredibly useful, and I honestly think I still benefit. There are some things that through that routine, through that practice, I think that have never gone away. I think the way that we live our lives in this particular culture at moment in time, we're so distracted by everything, all the noise, all the people and organizations vying for our attention, a million different things. It's like you said, you can't sit still. I think most people have a lot of trouble quieting their mind. They might be sitting still, but there's 1,000 things. They're on a screen and the TV's on and someone's shouting at them from the next room and then the phone rings or whatever. So there's a way in which I think there is a a real value in being able to train your mind to focus and actually shut that out.
Well, I will say that there is an indelible link without a doubt between mental well-being and yoga practice.
Mhm.
The type of yoga that we teach is vinyasa, which is breath, moving with the breath. Every movement has a breath. And the idea is that your mind controls your breath, but conversely, if you can slow your breath, your mind will then slow down,
Mhm.
right? So it's a way of self-regulating,
Mhm.
right? It's if you can breathe this special breath, ujjayi, it calms down your central nervous system and allows blood to go where it needs to go to do hard work,
Mhm.
but it focuses the mind. So no, it's not meditation, but it's as close as you can get in a physical sense
Right.
if you're doing that.
They're so similar, even though they're so different. You know what I mean? To look at a person meditating, an alien would be like, that person meditating is not doing anything like that person
Oh,
in the
yeah.
sculpt class. And yet at the same time, those two things may be more similar than just about anything else you could describe.
Well, I mean, I think that, yoga means union and yoga means the uniting of the mind, body, and the breath.
Mhm.
But that can happen hiking.
Mhm.
It can happen gardening. It can happen meditating. It can happen swimming. And I'm not here to judge, and maybe someday I'll be a meditator or whatever, but this helps me. And I love that I can say that breath, that really is a tool that people can use to help self-regulate.
What would you tell someone, what do you tell people who are just maybe a little timid about the idea of trying this?
Well, it's for everybody. And both the communities where I teach, it's arms open wide, baby. It's just so fun to be a part of. And you can rest whenever you want to,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
It's not like, an airplane ride or a hike when you're just like, I want to get off this. I don't want to be here
Right.
anymore.
Like 4 miles from the trailhead.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it really isn't that scary.
Yeah.
I mean, the sculpts classes are a little bit, but yoga,
Parentheses, Sarah makes face.
I would just say that the sculpt classes aren't for everybody. I mean, if you have PTSD or something, don't come
Why? What about it?
because the music's super loud. There's a lot of bad words and you're going to be provoked. They're lifting weights and doing like split squats and jumping and burpees and push-ups and stuff. But the yoga is not that way. I'm two different people. I'm like the DJ and the comedian, or I'm the yoga teacher. So it's two different people.
In one body at one time.
No, Sculpt is the weightlifting class that Laura takes. Right?
Okay, so that is not the yoga teacher?
Oh no, that's the party girl. And then the yoga teacher's like the other side.
Okay. What?
Do you want to come now?
No.
I'm going to text Laura right away and I'm going to be like, Dave said he still doesn't want to come.
Yeah, Laura's going to be like, no shit. It's lovely that she has this time with herself and you.
We have a good time.
I know you do. Believe me, I know. I cannot imagine Laura without that part of her life. I mean, it's a huge part of her life.
It brings her so much joy.
What haven't we talked about? What do people find interesting about your work when they meet you?
The number one quote I hear is, I don't know how you do it. And I say, I'm sponsored by Diet Coke. And then the other thing I would say is that people don't really, they sort of want to know how you got to be a yoga teacher, but they really don't ever ask anything beyond like a one sentence question. So I just want to say thanks because it's been nice to be able to like just talk about my love, you know?
Well, cool. Thank you for doing it.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Hi, producer Bailey here. On the next episode of Work-Shaped Life.
My parents taught me at a young age that, your work is really important, but really you work so that you can live the life that you want to live. And my parents both care a lot about their trades and their crafts and get a lot of joy out of it. But at the end of the day, they wanted to be traveling. They wanted to be on the road. Coming into consulting and having that flexibility in my life really allowed me to embrace these parts of my upbringing that I didn't really think would be possible. To have this really fulfilling, interesting career and kind of go back to being that hippie in a van.
Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform to hear the episode when it drops. In the meantime, check out the Work-Shaped Life Substack, where last week I shared some personal stories and reflected on what it takes to survive an active online presence. Work-Shaped Life is produced by Sheepscot Creative. It's hosted by Dave Weich, edited by Michael Nipper and me, Bailey Cain, with production support from Benna Gottfried, Rosie Struve, Amelia Lukas, and Kate Sokoloff. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Manon Fisher. Thanks for listening.